Hey, how's it going? Just sending fan mail. Today I'm writing a couple different celebrities via the venues that they're currently acting on. So I'm starting off with Jerry Seinfeld. And yeah, so typically I don't really handwrite my letters. I mean, it just takes a long time and my handwriting is garbage, so I'll print out all my letters, and I mean, I've done it both ways, but it works just fine if I'm handwriting my letters. Just always sign the bottom. I find the addresses via a publication called Production Weekly. It lists all of the upcoming productions that are getting ready to start or currently in progress. Currently, Jerry Seinfeld's working on one called Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story. It's going to be a Netflix film, and basically it's just, man, who knows what it's really about, but he has a sketch comedy skit where he talks about Pop-Tarts, how they came about when he was younger, and how he saw them in the grocery store. Somehow, they're basing a film on that story. I mean, it's like a 1-minute story sketch routine, and they're making a film out of it. I don't know, but I like Jerry Seinfeld. He's a funny guy, so I'm gonna write him a letter via the production company that's making the film. So we'll see if that gets forwarded to him. Sometimes these letters get forwarded to the talent. Sometimes they don't. It kind of depends on who receives it, and sometimes it'll just get returned to sender. Sometimes it'll kind of be out there in the ether, and you just get a surprise response. But for a lot of the harder people to get, Jerry Seinfeld, if like you write him via his agent, something like that, usually they don't forward. So you have to kind of try some of these untested, harder to find addresses to hopefully get a response. So that's why I'm writing him via venue, via the production office, rather than just sending to an agent. Sometimes agents work great. It's really just depends on the company and the individual agent, whether they're going to pass it on and whether the celebrity wants to accept fan mail via their agency. So yeah, that's why we're writing to Seinfeld via there. So basically all you have to do is you got to have your letter, and you're going to need 2 envelopes. So I got it's going to be the return envelope right here. And I have an outer envelope, which is a number 10. So the number 10 envelope is slightly bigger. The return envelope is going to go right inside there. I'm going to put a stamp there. My address is going to be the return address for the inside, so that when they get my letter, they can just open it up and sign whatever I'm sending them. In this case, it's going to be an index card. And then they'll just be able to put my signed index card with the envelope already in there and stick it in the mail. They don't have to go to the post office, buy postage, do anything. The easier you can make it on them, giving them something to sign, giving them an envelope that's already stamped and ready to go, addressed, all good to go, that's like you're going to have a big chance of increasing your likelihood of success, because if they have to go out, you got to go to the post office, buy stamps, write your address on an envelope, or even find an envelope. Find something for them to sign if you don't include your own item. I mean, you're asking them to jump through a lot of hoops for you, and they're already doing something, they're doing you a favor, signing your stuff for free. So the easier you can make it on them, the better. That's what I say. So, I always send something to sign, even if it's just an index card, which, I use these 3x5 index cards, but they're like super thick, like really durable. And, I get mine on Amazon. You can just search like acid-free index card. But, plain index cards, they're pretty thin and they're not acid-free, which means that over time, you can see some of these old people have been getting autographs on index cards for a long time. So if you look at some of the older ones, 10, 30, 40 years ago, someone got an index card signed, it's probably not going to be very white. It's probably going to be yellow and aged and not looking very good. So if you care about the autographs that you're getting and you want them to be something that you can have passing down, or you want it to look good long term, just put in a couple extra cents for an archival quality index card that's acid free, and you're going to be doing yourself a big favor. I think. So, yeah, I always just spring for the acid-free index cards. And, I'm going to be honest, like, getting autographs through the mail, each individual request, there's not that much. It doesn't cost that much for the supplies. But if you're sending out a big volume, the cost can rack up pretty quick, especially if you're sending out photos, like 8x10 photos. 8x10 photo maybe costs you $3 to print. Maybe you're, sending out 2 or 3 photos per request. So that's $6 to $9 just for the photos. And because it's a bigger format item, you're going to have bigger envelopes, which means it's going to cost more to ship them as well, right? So now you're probably looking at about $4 to send the request to them, and then $4 for the stamps to have it on your envelope for them to send back. So, I mean, an individual request when you're doing photos can be, easily, between $10 to $20. But, if you're just using a standard number 10 envelope, I mean, you're just talking about basically one stamp, which is about 50 cents, and a number 9 envelope and the number 10 envelope, those cost, pennies, almost nothing. An index card costs almost nothing. So, I mean, you're really looking at about $1 per request when you're using index cards and regular standard envelopes. So, it can be a difference between about $1 of cost, or if you're sending out a photo, $10 to $20. But of course, having a signed photo, I mean, it's much more, sought after. It's preferable to have a photo. I mean, it looks better displayed. Although index cards, I mean, if you want to put a little bit of money into framing, like I have here, like this is just an index card here, but it's matted up, so with a nice photo. So I mean, it can look really good if you just take a little bit of time to send it to Michael's or something like that, and an index card can come out really great. So, I mean, I think right out of the box, a photo looks great, but an index card can look equally as great if you put in a little bit of effort there. So, yeah, I'll get off my high horse on index cards. But yeah, so anyway, as I'm going through these, I usually use a couple different pens. I use a gold Uniball pen, the Signo, and I use that for signing. Sometimes I use it on the envelopes too, but I like to have something that has this nice gold metallic ink. Looks nice, so even though I don't handwrite my entire letter, I think it is nice to have a handwritten signature on there. I think it, kind of ties it together and still gives it that kind of personal feel, even though I'm not actually sitting there for an hour handwriting the letter. And a big reason why I'm not handwriting is because I might have to try to write a celebrity to like maybe 4 different addresses before I can get a response. They might have like 3 different agencies, a publisher, somebody who does their booking for movies, and then somebody who does their booking for voice acting. And, maybe all 3 of those, my letter might not get through to them, so I have to try them on the 4th try, like via movie set. So if I'm just trying to get one actor and I have to send to 4 different venues, and I have to write a big page like this every single time, that takes a lot of time, and I don't have that much time to be handwriting every single letter that many times. So, it saves a lot of time, just being able to change the address on the letter, keeping the contents the same for that particular actor, and then just changing the address to whatever their agency might be. But of course, every time I want to write a different actor, I don't really use form letters or anything like that. So each letter to each actor is going to be different. Some elements in there might be the same. Like, let's say that I'm writing 2 different actors, but they were both on the same movie that I liked, like 2 actors from Star Wars, for example. Some of that stuff is true for both of them. Like, I really love Star Wars. I'm going to be talking about how I love Star Wars in a pretty similar manner between both of those celebrities, but so there's going to be some overlap between letters, but I always try and make them as unique and personalized as possible, because some people do somehow, I don't know how, but sometimes people get successes with just these basic form letters, like simple, like 2-sentence, like, can you please sign my stuff? Thank you. And if someone wrote to me like that with that kind of low effort, I imagine I might not be very inclined to sign for them, but it works for some people still somehow. But I think the more personal and the more effort that you can put into your letter, the better your chances is going to be, especially when you're talking about somebody who is getting a big volume of fan mail. If they're getting stacks and stacks of these letters and there's a secretary going through them, sorting them out, saying, I can only pass on X amount of letters to the celebrity, they're going to pick out the best ones. And if your letter shows like you don't even really know who the person is, that you're probably not a really big fan, I mean, chances are you're going to get yours kicked in the trash can or returned to sender, while somebody who put in a lot of time and effort into crafting something, that shows that they actually care, is got a better chance of getting through to the celebrity. So, take care in your letters is, I guess, the moral of that story. So I got a couple people on here. I'm curious if anyone in here has written their own fan mail before, if they've ever tried to reach out to a celebrity, who that was, and if they had any success with that. Because I've been doing this for, well over a decade now. I kind of first found out about fan mail and understood that it's actually a thing that people can write a celebrity a letter and they can actually get a response from them. I first found out about that when I was watching Antiques Roadshow, which is like a PBS show, and somebody brought in their old collection to get appraised, and they said, my grandma used to write these celebrities in the 30s, and they would write back sending autographs, and so I kind of got the idea to start it then. Julia asked me, how many autographs do you have in your collection? I don't keep an inventory, but I have 2 5-inch binders that are full of autographs, plus several other binders and portfolios. It's somewhere above 2,000 autographs, easy. And that's not necessarily just from celebrities like actors or stuff like that. I collect autographs from all kinds of different people. So it could be even authors or artists also, people who are kind of like any public figure that has done something that I appreciate or find value in. So it could be even I like computers, so I might write like a computer scientist who Tim Berners-Lee, who's one of the founders of the internet. We all know and love the internet, right? So I thought it was pretty cool to reach out to one of the architects who invented one of the most important networks ever created. And I just sent him some index cards, and he sent those back signed for me, and that was really great. So, it could be, scientists, actors, athletes are, of course, hugely popular. I'm not much of a sports guy myself, but people love to write athletes. That's probably about half of the hobby in general. People will write their favorite sports teams. They'll go out and get a set of cards and try and complete a Topps set of baseball cards. They'll try and get every card in the set signed. Especially, there's a lot of retired players, and they don't have a whole lot going on a lot of the time, and they're really happy to sign. Sometimes for free, sometimes they just ask a small fee, maybe $10 to sign some cards or something like that. Sometimes for active players, they just send a stack. I've seen people send, crazy stacks of letters just to a stadium. They'll take the roster for a team, and they'll take one envelope and address it to a single player, send it to the stadium, and they'll do that for every single player on the roster. So they'll come with these they post pictures online with these crazy stacks of mail that they send out, and they definitely get a lot of responses. Sometimes it's a little bit of a numbers game, I guess. You really never know who's going to sign or not. So, the more lines you kind of put out in the water, the more likely you're going to get a bite. Now, I shouldn't say you don't know at all if you're going to get a success. I mean, you can have a pretty good indication because, like you see other people in the community will write to those people, and they'll get a response. So if you know that were responding to somebody last week, there's probably a pretty good chance that if you write them, then they might respond to you as well. All right. Cam Lecter said he got Neil Patrick Harris and Bryan Cranston not too long ago. Both are really nice. And yeah, definitely those are very nice. I too have gotten Bryan Cranston and Neil Patrick Harris. I'd be curious as to where you wrote them. I know I got them when they were appearing on Broadway. A lot of actors, other than signing on a movie set, like I'm writing to all movie sets today, other than signing while they're on movie sets, they do a lot of signing on Broadway. In fact, if they're appearing on Broadway, that's probably like the best time to write them, hands down, I would say. Like if there's a hard-to-get celebrity, more often than not, they will sign at least for a period while they're on Broadway. So if you write a letter to the theater where their play is at, usually you address it to the stage manager, but you can address it directly to that actor. I find it better just to address it to the stage manager. Just send an envelope. I don't even send anything in that case because they have playbills there. The playbill is like, talks a little bit about the play, gives you information about the actors and the theater, all that kind of stuff. And it's free. They give it out to people who attend. It's just something there to tell you a little bit about the show that you're watching. So I'll send out an envelope about, yay big, and I'll ask them for a playbill. And usually the stage manager, if you write directly to them, you can ask them just to say, hey, if you can give me the whole cast. Of course, asking a little bit nicely than that. A lot of times they'll, go around, pass it around to the cast. Sometimes they'll have like just a stack of these already ready to go, knowing that people are going to ask for it. And you can get a playbill signed by the entire cast, which is really great, including the actor that you're going for. If it's just the actor a specific actor that you want, then I'd say, maybe go ahead and write that specific actor to see if you can get one just signed by them. But stage manager is usually the way to go. Let me see here. Who is Ollie going to London for the UK TV Award next weekend? Hey, that's awesome. Big events like that. I'm not familiar with this one in particular, but big events like that are great places where people like to go and bring posters, that kind of stuff to get signed. Wait around where the entrance is, where the celebrities have the red carpet and all that. That can be a great time to get your stuff signed. Some of the best pieces are done at events like that, especially because you usually have for the big movie that's coming out or TV show, whatever it is. I guess in this case, TV show, you'll have a lot of the cast in one place at one time. So you can, take a poster from a TV show and bring it, and you can get a whole bunch of cast members all at that one time, which is awesome. So I don't know if you're a street grapher or not, Ollie, but I'd be interested to see if you get any autographs from the actors while you're there. All right. Cam Lecter, how do you find these movie set addresses? You seem to have a lot, and I hear those are the best. So there's a publication called Production Weekly. That's where I go for my addresses now. It's really like an industry publication. And what it's meant for is for people who are looking for a job as an actor, background actor, looking to do any of the, auxiliary work, like be a grip, something like that. It has a listing of all of the TV shows and movies that are coming out with contact information, where it's going to be filmed, when it's going to be filmed, who's working on it, producers, casting directors, etc. And it's meant to be there so that you can find something in your area and reach out to the casting director and get a job, basically. However, it kind of shoes itself in perfectly for through the mail autograph collecting, because it gives you where it's going to be filmed, exactly where you need to send the letter to, all that kind of good stuff. So it's a very valuable resource. However, the downside is that it's very expensive. It's like several $100s for a subscription to this thing per month. So what people do is they get a group of people together and they split the subscription cost. So, instead of paying the several $100s a month for this thing, I think it's maybe like $700 a year is what the cost comes out to. So instead of paying like an annual fee of $700, you can, with enough people, you can get it down to like, $30 or so per year. So it can become, at that point, affordable. But if you were just to go there on your own, I mean, for most people, it's totally out of reach, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'd say find a group. The group that I'm in is full, but there are other groups out there, or you can start your own if you find enough people who are interested in, and just sign up and split the cost between you and some friends. That's the best way to do it. That's how I would do it. And then Julia asked, how did your passion for autographs start? So I think I really first got into autographs with my passion for Star Wars, and about probably like 15 years ago, I got interested in, my love for Star Wars kind of stems from not just the movies itself, but how at least the original trilogy was made. There was a lot of artistry that went into it. Model makers, matte painters who like actually painted the backgrounds of these scenes, special effects technicians, just the whole process that these films, that it took to make these films was very fascinating to me. And I wanted to find out how I could reach out to these people and, kind of express how I liked the films and what they meant to me, and, get an autograph to remember them by. Sometimes even ask for a sketch, something like that. Sometimes there's a lot of artists that worked on these films, so you can ask for sketches as well, which is cool. But yeah, it was the autograph itself that was interesting, but it was kind of the whole getting to interact with these people that really drew me into the hobby. Getting the letters back is often a lot more rewarding and fulfilling to me than necessarily just getting an autograph on a piece of paper, which is great. I mean, that is the hobby, but it's the interaction with these people who, I mean, at one time I just never would have thought that I'd be able to even reach out to these people and make contact. So yeah, that's kind of like my draw to the autograph collecting hobby. Yeah, Ollie said, doing street graphing mostly in Berlin, Germany, my hometown. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so, I mean, is there anyone in particular that you're looking to get at those awards that you were mentioning earlier? I'd be interested to know more about that. I don't do a whole lot of street graphing. I've tried a couple times. I got 2 kids now and a wife, and I can't be on the street all day waiting for a celebrity, unfortunately. I mean, I think I would have been pretty good at it had I started, before I had the kids. But people like Bob Dylan have come to town. Like, I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and a lot of people come through town. And we got sports teams because we got the San Antonio Spurs, the basketball team, and so there's a lot of opportunities for street graphing here. I just have never really gotten into it. I do have some friends who do it, but the time commitment there, just being away from home and having to be there at a specific time has kind of been prohibitive for me. All right, Ollie says he's looking to get Kate Winslet, which is awesome. And you got Harrison Ford at the Brilliant. Okay, well, Harrison Ford, my 2 favorite actors are Harrison Ford and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You see Harrison Ford right here, obviously. So that's really cool that you got to meet Harrison Ford, because I met Arnold Schwarzenegger when he came to San Antonio, so that was one check off the bucket list. But I still have yet to meet Harrison Ford, and I mean that's definitely something I want to do at some point. And I mean, a lot of my favorite actors, I mean, they're getting up there in age, so it's not like I just have all the time in the world. So yeah, I mean, if there's I've seen sometimes people meet him at these charity dinners and stuff like that. So if I ever get word of another charity dinner, I think I'm gonna put in request to get the time off of work and just go out to California and, spend, the $1,000 or so that it's going to take to meet him and try and get in like that. Because, I want to meet Harrison Ford too. That was awesome. And you met Arnold too. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I had to pay like $1,200 to meet Arnold here in San Antonio. He was doing it was like a 2 autograph and a photo op package. And I mean, the photo op, I had it was probably 5 seconds with the man. I mean, I got in front of the camera, took the picture, and then I was gone. So I mean, I don't even think I got to say hi to him at that time. Luckily, I got to go back and meet him again for the autograph session, and I recorded the audio there. You can find it on talesfromthecollection.com. Just search Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, after, it felt like I had a good amount of time with the guy, but after listening to the audio, I mean, it was literally less than a minute. I mean, it was probably about 50 seconds of audio that I had with him. But even so, I mean, it was still quite special to have that small, brief interaction with him. So, I mean, he's quite an inspiration. I'm originally from California, and I was working for the California Environmental Protection Agency when he was the governor. And I was just down the street, and I was working in the Capitol, so I was down the street from the Capitol building in his office, and sometimes I would run legislation down there. And I did see him in the halls there one time. He was giving a press conference, which was pretty cool. But I got to drop legislation off in his office, and he had his Andy Warhol portraits, which was really cool. And he's just such an accomplished actor, bodybuilder, real estate owner, accomplished on so many levels. It's crazy. Let's see. Met Arnold, but wasn't doing autographs. Okay, stay up with entertainment content. We'll tag you next week in a small collection video of mine. Okay, cool. Yeah, great. Thanks, Ollie. I'd love to see what your collection is looking like. I'm definitely a little bit jealous of you getting to meet these cool people on the street. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, you do have to wait around a while to meet these guys, but I mean, it's free. I mean, whenever I get to meet a celebrity, it's probably at a convention, and I probably got to pay out the nose to have any kind of interaction with them and get the same autograph that you do. So, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for street graphing. It's awesome. But I do go to conventions, but most of my time is spent sitting at this desk or at the computer, writing letters and sending fan mail to celebrities. And I mean, if anyone is interested in finding out how I do it, I mean, I run the blog talesfromthecollection.com. I have all kinds of useful resources, addresses, step-by-step guides on how the best practices are for writing fan mail. I mean, there's a million different ways that you can do it. But I think there are some pretty standard best practices. Oh, Julia. I'm sorry, I cannot read that. I don't know can you translate stuff on here? I mean, probably not, right? I don't know. Is that Czech? It might be Czech. Because my mom is Czech. She's born in the Czech Republic, but unfortunately, she didn't teach me any Czech. So yeah, sorry, I cannot read that. But I really enjoy writing letters. I do speak Spanish, and I think one of these letters in here is actually to Penelope Cruz. So I did write my letter in Spanish. I think it's a good way to practice a foreign language. Okay, Julia says, do you have any autographs that you care about the most, or that you have the greatest sentiment? So I mean, probably this Harrison Ford one right here. My wife bought me this one. This was the first Harrison Ford autograph that I owned. I got it from Official Pics. It was $700, which is a lot of money for me. So it was kind of a big investment. And I mean, it would cost more now if I had to buy it now. But yeah, that was a very special one for me. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger, I got him on a full-size like Terminator 2 one-sheet, an original movie poster. Those are like the double-sided ones that they used in the theater. It's the one with he's on the motorcycle with a shotgun. So I got him to sign that, and a photo, an 8x10 photo of him from Conan the Barbarian. So those are pretty special to me. And kind of a more recent one that I got through the mail was Elizabeth Olsen. I really like that autograph a lot. I'm a fan of hers, but I think it's a little bit special to me because she was actually just recently, not in San Antonio, but San Antonio, if you know, Texas is like about an hour and a half south of Austin, Texas. And she just spent, almost a full year here in Austin. She's doing a new show called Love and Death. And it's an HBO series, a true crime series. And I got the opportunity to be a background actor on that show. I just, was there acting for a couple days, but I got to see her work. She was there, Kristen Ritter was there, Jesse Plemons, and Lily Raby, along with some other actors, were all there. I got to see them all work, which was really pretty special. And I was actually Star Wars Autograph Universe. They just mentioned today that they're doing a signing with Kristen Ritter, but they are not doing a send-in option, which was a really a big bummer. And I wish I had it handy, but like I got a prop from the show that I was going to send Kristen Ritter to sign, which I guess I'll have to wait for the next signing because they're not doing sending options here. It was in Polish. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. I wish I spoke Polish. I speak Spanish pretty well. I read it and listen to it a lot better than I actually speak it. I speak Spanish pretty well, and I don't say I speak Portuguese, but I understand it pretty well. So Spanish, Portuguese, and English is about as far as I go. I'd like to pick up some more languages at some point, but yeah, probably the next one on my list is Japanese. That's like a continual challenge. But yeah. So getting back to autographs, I've just been chatting away here. I haven't had a chance to actually prepare any of these envelopes yet. So, I use a ton of different envelopes for my requests. Now, this one is kind of like a craft paper one, but I'll use all kinds of different colors depending on the person. I might switch it up if I think they might like a different color. Whatever is good. But I mean, generally, as a rule for envelopes, I mean, there's not a whole lot of requirements, but one for sure is that I don't want the kind that have the security tint on there. So if you open up an envelope, like this one, it doesn't have anything in there. There's no print on here. Like a lot of times there'll be a crosshatch pattern with black or blue ink that makes it so that if you hold it up to the light, you can't see the contents of the letter. But the problem with that is the ink will often rub off on the contents that you're sending. So if I'm sending a white index card and I send it in an envelope that has a security print on it, that security stuff will just rub right off onto my autograph and it's going to mess it up. So I always have to make sure that I'm sending my request in an envelope that has no security stuff on there, no ink in there that's going to damage it. So yeah, the more like acid-free, archival safe kind of paper that I can find, which is usually going to that extreme of finding acid-free is just like almost impossible. But at the very least, I want to make sure that it does not have those security hash marks on there. That's a problem. And then I do have like a stamp with my address on it, so I'll use that for the return address. It saves me a little bit of hassle with having to write my return address like a million times. I do use labels sometimes, especially if I'm doing like a big batch of autographs. Like I have like a stack of requests that I'm going to send out, and it saves me a lot of time just to do a whole sheet of address labels.
at one time. So I'll handwrite the address a lot of the time if it's just, a handful of letters that I'm doing. Sometimes it's not worth going through the trouble of printing out labels and all that. But I try and save time where possible, when possible. Let's see. Yes. All right. So I mentioned earlier, first letter I'm writing to is Jerry Seinfeld. He is working with Netflix right now. He's done some stuff in the past, done a stand-up comedy specials, and of course his series Seinfeld was on there. I'm not sure if it's still on there, but I mean it was certainly airing for a long time, so might have moved platforms at this point. But he's working on a new film called The Pop-Tart Story, and he has a stand-up comedy routine, which he talks about kind of the invention of the Pop-Tart and more or less how it blew his mind. So somehow, don't ask me how, somehow that story is getting turned into a movie. And that's starting production about the middle of the month. So I'm going to wait on actually sending this out to him, because he's probably at this time not actually on set. He's not going to be on set until they actually start filming mid-month. Although, maybe he might. I think he is directing it as well. So, I take that back. He might be on set sooner than that. But usually when you're talking about an actor, they're not on set until you start filming. So probably about mid-month I'm going to send this out, especially because it's in New York. It's only going to take a couple days to get there. If it was in the UK or, Poland, for example, I might send it a week or two, before I want it to get there, because it's going to take some time to arrive. But because this is pretty close as far as mail goes, I'm good sending it more close to the middle of the month. And, I'll put the envelopes together, put the letter in there, put what I'm sending it to get signed, and then kind of, depending if I'm, just feeling it in the moment or not, I have a wax burner here. So it'll furnace. You put a tea candle under there, put some wax in the spoon right here, and you melt the wax, pour it on the back of the envelope. Use this wax seal right here, stick it on there, and then it makes it look nice, like you just did something from Game of Thrones or something. I ordered a custom seal off of Etsy. Just has my last name in kanji, Santens. I'll do that. Just as a way to kind of make my letter stand out a little bit more, make it unique, so that if someone has a pile of letters and they're only picking one, maybe it's mine that gets picked. That's kind of the thought process there. But I'm curious if anyone follows any other autograph collectors here on TikTok, or has a favorite maybe autograph collector on YouTube or anything like that they like to follow. I go on there, every once in a while, but there's not a whole lot of actual, what you would call content creators in this space. There's plenty of people online on Facebook groups and stuff like that who, post about their successes on forums and stuff like that. But I don't see a whole lot of content creators, which is kind of a shame, because it's a really cool hobby and one that not a lot of people know about. So it'd be cool to see a little bit more stuff out there. If you guys have autographs, definitely tag me in a video, show me what you got. It'd be cool to see what's out there, and who you guys are interested in writing to, what your successes and failures have been like, all that kind of stuff. Julie, who have you written to last? Let's see. I'd like to know who you're reaching out to. I always do a trifold on these letters. I put I think the proper way to fold the letter is to do the ink side in, but I do the ink side out so I can have no ink on the back side for when I'm putting my index cards in. I just don't want that ink rubbing off of my index cards. I want them to arrive clean and white because they're going to look good displayed like that. If you got ink smeared all over them, it doesn't look very good displayed. So you got to be careful. Take extra care. I just fold them into my letter. So I just send my letter off like this. Got 2 index cards in there. It's going to help it not be jumbled around too much in the envelope. And yeah, again, if you do have like a security seal on your envelope with ink, it's going to protect them from getting ink rubbed on. So always put them in the middle of my envelope. And then you have got your outer envelope already addressed. And then you got to do the same thing for the return envelope. So it's just a slightly smaller size. You're just going to, instead of having the address for Jerry Seinfeld on here, in this location, the destination part, you're going to put your address here so they know where to send it back. And stamps always go here in the top right corner. For us old people, this probably sounds like common sense, but I think there's a lot of people on TikTok who've never sent a letter before. And I send these multiple letters a day, but a lot of people have never sent a letter in their life. So I think it's important to mention those things. So what I'm going to do is where did I put my stamps? Here's the stamps. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the stamps on here, and there's no guarantees with fan mail. You might get accepted, might get kind of thrown in the trash, or sometimes they kick it back to you, right? They just, this in order to tell you, hey, this person is not at this address, or kind of de-incentivize people from sending mail to that address if the celebrity doesn't want to receive mail there. So they might send your letter back, and in which case they'll just write return to sender on this, and it'll come back to you unopened. In which case you're going to have a return envelope in there, of course. And the stamp was never used, so it's still going to be good. You can just kind of reuse it for the next request. In which case, you want to make sure that's why I don't put their return address on here. So if this is coming back and I want to reuse it and I already have Jerry Seinfeld's name on there, then it's either send it back to Jerry Seinfeld or nothing. So rather than putting their address on there and kind of making it like useless if it comes back to me, I'll just pencil in their name, and that way if it does come back return to sender, I can just erase it, put someone else's name on there, and then use the envelope because the stamp hasn't been canceled or anything if it's just a return envelope inside the request that you sent. So that's a little pro tip there. Some people will do this, and instead of like writing their name, they'll just put a number on there. If they have like a spreadsheet that they use for a tracker, they'll just have the row number correspond to the number they write here, and that way they know off the top of their head, like, okay, this is letter number 1. Look at their spreadsheet to row number 1, and they know that it's sent to Jerry Seinfeld or whoever. So there's multiple ways of doing it, but in general, try not to write their address in the return address slot. And also, I mean, if they do respond to you, right, and maybe you didn't put sufficient postage on there, then it'll get returned to the actor if their return address is there, and you don't want that either. I mean, you want, no matter if you have the correct postage or not, if they send it, you want to make sure that it comes back to you. So, if you have insufficient postage, sometimes the mailman's just cool about it and they give it to you. Sometimes they want you to make up the difference, pay them, whatever money is that's to make the difference, however it works. But you want to make sure that it's just your address on the return envelope as much as possible, because that will ensure that it gets to you no matter what, pretty much. And so, I only got this one letter done on this video, but that's about it. I got to go pick up my kid now. So definitely appreciate you guys watching. It was a good time talking about autographs. Definitely, tag me in some videos. Let me see what you guys are getting. I'm interested in what everyone else is getting too. That's always fun to see what other collectors are getting back and who they're interested in writing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely let me know and keep following. I'll post what I get when I get it. I try not to do too many, stuff, autographs from the collection. Sometimes I'll feature some stuff that's, I've had for a while, but I usually try and keep it to current stuff, because I know if I post like an autograph from a certain celebrity, people are going to probably want to write them too, get a little bit inspired. So, if I'm posting old stuff for a celebrity that, doesn't sign anymore, that's probably not as helpful. So, Julie asked if I write letters by hand or print them. I've done both. And almost 100% of the time I'm typing the letter. I haven't seen any real difference between handwriting and typing. Like, I don't know, as far as the success rate goes, like, I'm not more likely to get a response because I hand wrote my letter. And it just takes a lot of time, and my handwriting isn't that great, so I don't think I'm necessarily doing the celebrity a service by making them read my handwriting. So I think it's kind of better for everybody involved that I type my letters. So yeah, I type them all up, and I haven't really had a problem with that since. I try and make my letters personal in other ways, maybe using a unique envelope, doing the wax seal on there, signing my name in a gold pen on the bottom. I find other ways to make it personal. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later.